So you finally opened your Etsy shop. Congratulations. You probably got a few listings in your shop and maybe a cute banner, and it's real now. You're actually doing this. But the biggest mistakes happen after you opened your shop and had it up and running for a while. And those mistakes are quietly holding you back before you even realize it. And even though I'm a top 1% seller now, I've made each and every one of these mistakes when I was just starting out. So let's talk about what not to do after you open your shop and what to do instead so you can actually start building traction and getting those cha-chings. Number one, don't list random products just to fill out your shop. Pretty easy to panic when your shop feels empty. So you begin to upload anything, wall art, PNG, Tumblr wraps, invitations, templates, anything. And that can feel productive until your views take a hit. Etsy doesn't reward variety, it rewards clarity. And when your listings are targeting completely different buyers, it can really impact how the algorithm learns who to show your items to. But the shops that do grow quickly, they pick a lane. They have the same vibe, same audience, same product type. So your goal is to start off with only one product, master it, perfect it, and then consider adding another product type to your shop. Because focus builds shops, distraction kills them. And because we're talking about clarity, I made a free listing optimization checklist for you to ensure that when you're adding new items to your shop, that you're implementing the best practices recommended by Etsy and that your listings are set up to convert. If you want your free copy, go ahead and leave the word checklist below and I'll get that over to you. Number two, don't price your products too low. When you're new, pricing low might feel smart. You want orders, you want reviews, you want proof that what you're doing is working. But here's what actually happens. You finally get that sell and you've earned basically nothing. Underpricing doesn't build momentum, but what it does build is resentment. You're undercutting yourself, your time, effort, and energy, and you're telling customers that your work isn't worth that much. And those bargain shoppers, they typically come with the most drama. Instead, I want you to price with confidence. Look at what the bigger shops are charging for their items, collect the average of that amount, and that'll help give you a really good starting point of where you can begin with your pricing. And if you want to take it a step further and double check your profit, eRank has a really cool pricing calculator tool that I use to this day for both my digital and my print on demand shops. It'll take into account the Etsy transaction fees. If you're running a sale in your shop or you have ads on, it'll help you calculate all of those numbers. That way you can really determine what your true profit is. If you want to try out eRank, I'll have it linked below for you in the description. Number three, don't design blindly. Validate demand first. So you get an idea, you open Canva, you spend hours and hours creating something beautiful that nobody is looking for. Etsy isn't just about creativity, it's about data. Before you design anything, type in your idea into the Etsy search bar and see what comes up. The words on the left, that data is coming directly from Etsy. They're showing you what other people are typing in right now. The numbers on the right in the orange, that data comes from Everbeam, which is my favorite research tool, and that'll show you how many people are searching for that particular keyword. So you can take those two pieces of information together and make an informed, data-driven decision about what to create for your shop. I have a link below if you want to try out Everbee for free. Now, when you've done your research and you determine that the search demand is pretty solid and the competition is low, you're good to go. But if not, you can do one of two things. You can either niche down further or move on to something else. But no matter what, validating before I created a single thing is what changed everything for me. And if you want to bypass all of the research and have that done for you to give you a head start for your shop, that's exactly what is inside of my Done For You Niche Club. Each week, you're going to get a fresh set of low competition, unsaturated niches that I've researched for you, along with the AI image prompts, the titles, the tag, pricing information, and so much more. I'll have a link down below if you want to check it out to see what was dropped this week. Number four, don't keep updating your listings. I get it. Views can be very dry, so you become inclined to start tweaking your tags, your titles, your thumbnails again and again and again. But each time you edit, you're resetting the algorithm for that item. So it's like you're starting from day one all over again. You have to let your listings breathe. And if you have a newer shop, that can be 90 to 120 days. Now, if you have a bestseller, don't touch a single thing. Not even changing the thumbnail. Don't do it, because you may think that you can improve that listing, but your packaging is what is working and what has made it a bestseller. If you change any of that, even your thumbnail, you're going to potentially kill that listing. Now, if you are inclined to make any changes, I would encourage encourage you to duplicate that original listing instead and let the new version collect its own data. Remember that growth comes from new listings, not changing the old one. Number 5, don't rely only on Etsy for traffic. Now, don't get me wrong, Etsy's built-in traffic is fantastic, but you shouldn't sit back and wait for it. Instead, you can drive your own traffic. You can share your listings on social media or Pinterest, which is what I do. And I would highly encourage you to create an email list. It's really interesting, but outside traffic tells the algorithm that your listings are interesting, and that can boost your ranking. And although some may argue that bringing in outside traffic may be a detriment to a shop, I strongly disagree, because Etsy has a share and save program where they're encouraging you to bring in outside traffic by giving you a special link to provide on your social media, email list, wherever. And if the person clicks on that special link or may go to your shop and they buy something, you're able to save some of the money on the transaction fees. So Etsy is telling you, bring in outside traffic. It's a really great way to grow faster, and the algorithm can see that you're helping to bring traffic into your shop. Number 6, don't obsess over branding too early. Your logo, your brand colors, your banner, your shop design, all that stuff is fun to create, but they don't matter yet. If you're spending more time designing your shop and not adding listings, then you're stuck. Data matters more than shop design. Keep it clean, keep it cohesive, but spend more time focusing on learning what is actually going to sell. And I promise you, your visuals regarding your shop will get better over time. Progress beats perfection every day. And you'll probably change that banner like 5 times. I know I did. Number 7, don't take slow sell days personally. You launch, you wait, nothing happens. And it can hurt. You can't help but think that the algorithm is ignoring you, or your products aren't good enough. But Etsy's algorithm is not emotional. It just needs data. This right here is when a lot of sellers quit, right before the traction hits. So use that quiet time to improve your shop, because the moment you quit taking it personally, you begin to think strategically, and growth will begin to show up after that. Etsy will be slow until it's not. Number 8, don't copy what's already selling. So you are doing your market research and you see a bestseller and you begin to think to yourself, if I just tweak it a bit, maybe I'll get orders too. I've been there. It doesn't work. There are so many carbon copies of the same listing, and rarely they do well. I feel like buyers can pick up originality. And when something is truly yours, that confidence will show. So instead of creating a carbon copy of a top seller, learn to study why it's selling, and then make it your own. That is how you build a shop that lasts. So hopefully you found these 8 mistakes to avoid after opening your shop helpful. And don't forget that if you wanted to grab your free listing optimization checklist, go ahead and leave the word checklist below in the comment section. I'll get that over to you. And if you want weekly, profitable, low competition product ideas, that's exactly what I do inside of my Done For You niche club. It'll be the first link below in the description box for you. The video on your screen right over here covers 9 new digital products that are blowing up right now. So I'll catch you over there. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.